What's up everyone? My name's Scott McLeod and welcome to the video. Alright, hold up. I'd like to interrupt the flow of this introduction to give you a special message. First off, can we appreciate those purple lights in the background? They're looking pretty clean here. But to get to the point, if you clicked on the video, if you're here, you found me first. You discovered me first. I'm happy to have you here. Thank you so much for watching. And I'd love to have you along with me for this entire journey. So that being said, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now, be sure also to stick around to the very end of this video. I'm going to sit down and give you some real talk. I hope it doesn't turn into a rant, but it's something that's on my mind and something that's giving me a little bit of a rise. I'm feeling something internally. I don't know if it's anger, if it's frustration. I'll be laying all of that out at the very end of this video, so stick around for that. So, you want to learn about macronutrients. How to count, how to track, and even how to calculate your own macros. You came to the right place. So to start, we need to figure out how many calories you need to eat on a day-to-day basis. And it really boils down to your basal metabolic rate, or the calories that your body needs to sustain its most basic functions, the minimum number of calories that your body needs at rest. To figure out that number of calories, we can use a number of different methods. There are online calculators, the Harris-Benedict formula, namely, for multiplying your age, your height, your weight, and your gender by various lifestyle factors. Are you sedentary? Are you lightly active, moderately active, very active, or maybe even extra active? What I've done over the course of the last several years is I've taken my body weight and I've multiplied that by a range of 14 to 16. 14 being on the low end of that active spectrum, so maybe closer to sedentary or lightly active. 16 being very or extra active. I put myself somewhere in the middle. I work out 5 to 6 times a week, every week. When I'm not working out, I do work an office job, so mainly sitting at my desk. I get out for walks, but I wouldn't consider myself extra active, so I put myself at that 15 range. From here, we need to figure out our macronutrient breakdown. In other words, how many grams of protein, carbs, and fats are we eating on a day-to-day basis? I like to start things off with protein. So, how much protein are we going to be eating? To figure out that exact number, it's responsible to bring our attention to evidence-based research. Now, there are conflicting viewpoints in scientific research for suggested and recommended daily amounts of protein. So it is responsible for us to factor in the totality of scientific evidence available to us. That general scientific consensus to come up with a range of 0.7 to 1.0 grams of protein per pound of body weight, equating to 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. The other thing that we should keep in mind is that 1 gram of protein equates to 4 calories. So there are 4 calories in 1 gram of protein. Okay, quick editor's addendum while we're on the topic of protein and talking about that range, that 0.7 to 1.0 grams of protein per pound of body weight range. There are some evidence-based studies out there that suggest slightly above 1.0 grams of protein per pound of body weight is optimal for muscle gain. I would only suggest going slightly above 1.0 grams of protein per pound of body weight in instances where you are extremely lean. You have a very low body fat percentage. You are in contest prep or you are absolutely diced. You're shredded and you possess a very low body fat percentage. 5, 6, 7%. Then go above that 1.0 gram of protein per pound of body weight recommendation. I would suggest 1.1 to 1.25 in that unique and special instance. Next, I like to figure out how much fat we are going to be eating. And to do that, we are going to be multiplying our body weight by a range of 0.3 to 0.5. Now, this is going to be based off your individual preference. Are you an individual who prefers meals with fattier foods, your whole eggs, your ground beef, your sausage, your bacon? Or are you an individual who likes your carbohydrates, your toast in the morning, your rice, your potatoes? The other thing that we have to remember when considering fat is that each gram of fat contains 9 calories. So there are 9 calories per gram of fat that we are taking in on a day-to-day basis. Okay, quick editor's addendum. While we're talking about the concept of fat and that suggestion that I gave for 0.3 to 0.5 grams of fat per pound of body weight, I alluded to the fact that this can be adjusted based on individual preference. And I just want to drive that point home, that this is certainly something that can be adjusted. I put myself at 0.5 grams of fat per pound of body weight because me, personally, I am interested in the benefits of fat for brain function and for hormone regulation. So again, this is my preference, and I put myself at 0.5 grams of fat per pound of body weight because of those benefits, those innumerable benefits, I might add. So to round everything out, we'll be bringing our attention to carbohydrates. Now, I told you to remember that there are 4 calories per gram of protein that we take in and 9 calories per gram of fat that we are taking in. So what we need to do is calculate the calories from protein and fat and fill in the rest with carbohydrates. And it really boils down to a simple math equation. So with all of that in mind, I'll see you at the whiteboard. So first, we need to figure out the number of calories that we're going to be eating on a day-to-day basis. To figure out that number, we're multiplying our body weight, in my instance, 175, by that range of 14 to 16, again, to reiterate, based off of your lifestyle factors, how active are you? I put myself right there in the middle of the range, so I'm utilizing 175, my body weight times 15 to give me 2,625 calories. I am eating at maintenance. So if we take my body weight of 175 pounds, we multiply that by 1.0, we get, of course, 175. And to figure out the calories from the protein, 175 being the grams of protein that we're going to be eating on a day-to-day basis, we take 175, we multiply by 4 calories per gram of protein, and we get 700 calories from protein. So now we need to figure out how much fat we're going to be eating and the calories that we're getting from eating that fat. So let's take 175, my body weight, and multiply by 0.5, giving us 87.5. 87.5 is roughly 88. 88 times 9 calories per gram of fat, gives us 792 calories from fat. So we already know that I need to eat 2,625 calories to maintain my body weight of 175 pounds. We figured out the calories from protein, giving us 700, the calories from fat, giving us 792. If we take 700 and add that to 792, we get 1492. Then we take our 2,625 calories that I need to eat on a day-to-day basis to maintain my body weight, and we subtract the 1492, giving us 1,133 calories remaining. Those calories are going to come from carbohydrates. So we need to also remember that there are 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates that we take in. So we take the 1,133, we divide by 4, and we get 283.25. That is roughly 283 grams of carbohydrates.
So the next question that we need to ask is, what's your goal? Are you trying to gain weight, lose weight, or maintain your weight? And it all comes down to calories in versus calories out. The law of thermodynamics cannot be violated. That law states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only converted from one form to another. So it all comes down to your caloric surplus versus your caloric deficit, or an energy surplus versus an energy deficit. No, it's not all of the carbs that you're eating or one macronutrient in isolation that is making you fat or overweight. It is your caloric surplus, your energy surplus. Again, it all comes down to calories in versus calories out. It is just that simple. So if you're trying to gain weight, I suggest eating in a caloric surplus of about 300 to 500 calories per day. If you are trying to lose weight, then I suggest a caloric deficit of 500 calories per day. The goal is to go about this slow and gradual. Aim to lose 1 pound per week. Yes, nice and slow, nice and gradual to maximize muscle potential and to ensure that this is sustainable and not something that you are going to renege on or something that is going to be too onerous and cause you to completely go off the rails, binge eat, or even gain all of your weight back. So again, slow and gradual, aim to lose around 1 pound per week. And if you're trying to maintain your weight, well, you're eating at maintenance, you're not adding or subtracting. Keep in mind that these are just ranges and they need to be adjusted accordingly. That's why I suggest stepping on the scale each and every morning. As soon as you wake up, first thing in the morning, before you do anything else, step on that scale and keep track of your weight. Now, your daily weigh-ins could fluctuate for a number of different reasons. So that's why I also suggest weighing yourself for the entire week, each and every day. And at the end of the week, taking your average for the week and adjust your macros based on your average. So if you are not gaining weight and your goal is to gain weight, then you need to up your calories. If your goal is to lose weight and you are not losing weight, then you need to lower your calories. Again, calories in versus calories out.
So in summary, we figured out the number of calories needed to maintain our body weight on a day-to-day basis by multiplying our body weight by a range of 14 to 16. We then determined how much protein and how much fat to eat on a day-to-day basis based off of the suggested ranges in this video. After that, we took the combined total of calories from protein and fat, subtracted that from the original number, the original basal metabolic rate. The remaining number represents the calories from carbohydrates. Now, to get down to grams, we need to divide that remaining number by 4, giving us the grams of carbohydrates that we will be eating on a day-to-day basis. Okay, as I'm sitting here editing this video, there's something that I want to say. This is stemming from conversations that I've had with people who are close to me, individuals at the gym, other people who are interested in this fitness lifestyle, and it's the notion that carbohydrates cause obesity. This is simply something that is not evidence-based. It is not rooted in the literature, in the science. There are innumerable evidence-based articles in reputable nutrition journals, scientific journals, stating that carbohydrates in isolation are not the cause of obesity. And this is something that's just weighing on my mind because I've received some messages, whether that was a phone call, a text message, stating that I need to lose some weight. It's the carbohydrates. It's all of the carbs that I've been eating. I need to cut down on the carbs. This is just something that is mind-blowing to me. How many people do not understand, one, the law of thermodynamics. What I am here to point out is the evidence-based content available for all of you, suggesting that it is not the carbohydrates, especially in isolation. That claim that carb consumption is the cause of obesity simply needs to stop. And here are the reasons why. What I'm going to do is I am going to cut and paste some quotes from some evidence-based articles and pop them up on the screen. The other thing that I would like to point out is this notion that exclusionary and restrictive diets are people's go-to. This is your go-to. Keto is your go-to. Carnivore is your go-to. Carb cycling is your go-to when you need to lose weight. Why haven't you made this a lifestyle? Why does it have to be your go-to? It's because in most cases, individuals are fluctuating. They're going up and down, on and off of these exclusionary and restrictive diets. It's not something that promotes, in most cases, long-term adherence. Now, if you can adhere to one of these over the course of your life, not just certain days, not just certain weeks, day over day, week over week, month over month, and year over year, if this is something that you are adhering to, then great for you. That is excellent. Keep up the good work. I'm not here to argue any of that. I'm here to promote a healthy lifestyle through long-term adherence. I gave you some tips and tricks throughout the course of this video. I hope you found some of this useful. I'll continue by saying that I am not an expert. I have read tons of the evidence-based content out there. I'm providing some of that to you throughout the course of this video. And I am continuing to receive and study for multiple certifications. I referenced one of those in my previous video. If you haven't seen my previous video, it's my first ever YouTube video. What are you doing? You need to go check that one out. But I'll end by saying that I am a lifelong learner. There is an ever-changing dynamic to this fitness industry, and that is something that we all need to be aware of and we all need to admit to. Now, with all of that in mind, thank you so much for watching. As I mentioned, if you're here, if you clicked on this video, you're one of the first few that have found me. Please subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you along with me for this entire journey. And as always, leave a like on this video and comment down below. I'd love to hear your opinions, and I'd love to hear if you have any questions for me. Also, if you stick around for this YouTube journey, you're hanging out here on the channel, I do plan on doing full day of eating videos utilizing this Macros 101 concept, so stay tuned for those as well.